All right, so today I'm going to try and explain my process for the financial part of my life, which is currently day trading. And I have a couple other things going, which I'll do future videos about. I am not teaching a day trading course here, but I think it's important for me to memorialize on video exactly what I'm trying to do, the process that I'm looking for, which, as we discussed in the first video I did, process over goals. And I'll explain a little bit about what I'm trying to do, only again, just so you have an idea of if I'm sticking to the process, right? That's the whole point. So I have a couple of charts up here. And this is the NASDAQ futures. The M here stands for micro, so it's a smaller contract. And you can see we've had an extremely volatile day. Today is Monday, April 7th. And you can see the low is 16,699 and the high is 18,353. And we're currently trading, as I'm doing this video, at about 17,280. It is about 11:22 in the morning, East Coast time. So, what do I do? How do I try to understand which way, the direction I think the market's going? I basically have two main indicators that I focus on. So here's the 15-minute chart. And let me just take this opening range and take off the label. Okay. So you see there's a line here, a red line and a blue line. This is what's known as the 15-minute opening range trade. And the idea here is to not make any trades. And believe me, I violate this rule all the time. So this is why I'm doing this channel, to try to hold myself accountable. To wait 15 minutes, and then once you've got that 15 minutes, then you either purchase above the breakout or you short below the breakdown, right? And it's a really consistent, good quality indicator for me. And as you can see here, we broke out today above 16,981, and we went up, a pretty insane 1,000 points, and even higher before we started coming back down. Not only did I just use it for that quick trade, which I did make some money on today, I did trade it okay properly, and I waited. I was patient on this account. But then I also use it as a buy indicator for the rest of the day. So until I consider it to be on a buy signal of the market until we break down back below this blue line, which would then put it on a sell signal, which, given today's volatility and given the markets with Trump tariffs and everything, which is the backdrop of why there's so much volatility today, certainly this could be a reason, something that is possible in the realm of possibility. So that's one indicator. The second indicator I'll show you, this is a 5-minute chart. So you see I still have the opening range trading here, the red line and the blue line, but all these other lines are what's known as pivot points, and I am not going to go in deep into detail about what each pivot point is, but I will tell you that there are 2 buy pivot signals and 2 sell pivot signals, and my focus is that when we get on a buy pivot signal as well as a buy opening range breakout signal, it's a very strong signal. It's what I consider to be congruent. So when the NASDAQ dipped below this blue line and then got back above it, that created a buy pivot signal. Then you had the bigger move here. So I took a trade with 3 micros. Ended up making about $600 on the trade, which was good. I could have scaled out a little slower, made a little bit more money, or I could have added a little more, which is something that I'm trying to work on. I did do some trades pre-market, which didn't work out well in what's known as evaluation accounts. So they're not real money accounts, but they're evaluation accounts. And I really need to stop doing that. I think one of my biggest failures is that I have what's known as FOMO, fear of missing out. and I'm trying to pass all these evaluations so I can build up to more and more accounts. And it's to my own detriment, actually. So I need to really be focusing on only the 9:30 to 4 o'clock sessions. I need to keep my brain clear. Once I start going outside of those hours without any signals, anything can happen. And then all of a sudden you get a bias towards a direction. And now you're not trading your process at all. You're focusing on your goals. You're focusing on feeding your ego that you want to be right, as opposed to being, following the process. Which, if I follow the process consistently, then you get pretty much guaranteed that over time you'll make a good living. So today's an interesting day for sure. There's a lot of volatility. It's very easy to sit here and say, oh my goodness, had I done this or done that, I could have made $10,000, which is within the realm of possibility. It could have been that kind of day. But right now, I'm not that kind of trader. And the only way you get to be that kind of trader is by being consistent in your process. So every time I screw up and don't follow my process, I push the clock back to the point where I could have those kinds of days. And this is exactly why I'm doing this channel, because I want to talk it through. I want to hear myself say certain things. I write down in my journal, but sometimes it's nice to hear it in video. And as I say things like, I'm never going to be the trader I want to be as long as I keep making dumb amateur mistakes, I'm hoping that sinks in for me. So we'll see how the rest of the day goes. I actually have a setup here that I'm looking for on the 15-minute chart, where I'm looking to see if get 3 big red candles, maybe come back down into this middle of this range, and then you start to get a little bit of a breakout move, and then you can get long and hopefully ride it up. So a lot of information with Trump tariffs today. The market's been getting decimated over the last week. Getting into bear territory, I think, in all the indexes. So again, like I said, I'm not really looking to teach day trading, but I think it's relevant for myself to tell what my style is so people can understand that. There's a lot more to what I'm doing in terms of how you're trading, in terms of sizing, building up your positions, what you're doing in terms of getting stopped out of a position. And those are all things I'll cover later, but for now, I'll start making some videos on my progress, how I'm doing, am I sticking to my plan, which is all that really matters. Everything else is bullshit. Are you sticking to the plan? Are you focusing on the process? So hope everyone enjoys the video. Talk to you soon.